Rashee Rice looks fantastic out there doing drills, doing work. Rehab's going way ahead of schedule. And you can even see the video clip. I'll put it up on my Instagram later of this man pushing weights on a sled. Looks fantastic. Rashee Rice is going to be a massive sleeper and re-breakout player in 2025, as he was on pace for a monster top 5 season last year. And I love Xavier Worthy. So Mahomes is going to cook, and Mahomes is out there lifting. Everybody's going to doubt the Chiefs. The Chiefs are so fun to doubt and make fun of. Mahomes is coming for blood. And Rashee Rice and Worthy, you don't know which one's going to be the number one wide receiver. But Rice, we were on top of Rice before the injury, probably higher than anybody. This guy was dropping top 5 wide receiver numbers. We told everybody.
Let him cook.
We told you he was doing things. He was going places. He was top 5 capable all year long at the wide receiver position. Then he got injured. Taken out by Patty Mahomes himself. LCL injury, little hamstring issue, but he looks fantastic. You wouldn't even know he was injured by this video clip I'll put up on Instagram. So we got more to discuss around Shedeur Sanders and Matthew Golden climbing up boards. I don't necessarily love the Matthew Golden hype as much as everybody else, but I do know that landing spot can make a player amazing. So we'll have to talk about what would make him a very good prospect to me walking into the NFL, and what do I think is potentially the outcome. The Fantasy Football Show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Every single Monday through Friday show begins right now.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So, man, excited about Rashee Rice. Excited what Rashee Rice is going to have in store for everybody in 2025. He's going to bounce back on a tear. Mahomes is going to bounce back on a tear. Worthy's going to continue to thrive. The Chiefs' offense is going to ball. Mahomes is going to have probably 35, 40 touchdowns. And you could say, oh, Smitty, you said this last year. You know what? Sometimes you're a year early. We're not going to land everything in the right timing, but this guy looks like a monster. You doubt him all you want. I'm very comfortable making Rashee Rice my number one wide receiver in a build where I go RB, Josh Allen, and then I get Rashee Rice and I get a DK Metcalf. Rice and Metcalf, I'm fine with that. If you want to take a late wide receiver approach, that is not a bad approach. I've even drafted very rarely. It's hard to get it. But Mahomes goes in 6-7. Rashee Rice goes in 4. Sometimes you can get Worthy in 4 and Rice in 5 or one or the other. Really hard to do. But I've done it before in a best ball draft. I try all the time, and it's so hard to do it. You have to have just the right pick, and then enough people have to mess up right in front of your pick in order to get Worthy and Rice with Mahomes. But it's a fun way to build and try and build. But Rice to the mother freaking moon. And those that doubt Rashee Rice, I know he could maybe get suspended. We don't even know. They might push this thing into 2029. and to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be more than a 1 to 2 game suspension at this point. If it's a 6-gamer, that's going to suck. And there's going to be some risk involved. And you got to be able to buck up and take on that risk in a league where you're drafting Rice as your number one wide receiver, or he's your number 2 receiver. But you're drafting, let's say, Lamb in round 1. You go Bucky and Kyron in rounds 2 and 3. Yes, Kyron falls to 3 all the time. Breece Hall in 3. So Lamb, Bucky, Hall, Lamb, Bucky, Kyron, and you go Rashee Rice in round 4. It's a risky proposition, but the upside is huge. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but I love the cost of entry, to be honest with you, because this is a second-round wide receiver. We got the Shedeur Sanders news here. The Steelers are looking very interested in Shedeur Sanders. They remain interested in Aaron Rodgers. They're awaiting Aaron Rodgers' decision. I can't believe Aaron Rodgers is still mulling this thing over. Yeah, I remember like, I don't know, it's been like 3 weeks maybe that I was going to Disneyland, and I'm like, damn, I know I'm going to be breaking this Aaron Rodgers news in Disneyland. It's going to happen. It always happens. Whenever I leave the studio, something big happens. And I went through the whole trip. I've been back. we haven't heard anything. He's been sitting on this. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, I don't think they would be as intrigued about going Shedeur. If Aaron Rodgers decides to retire or wait it out a long time and just say, I'm going to play it out and come back during the year, if a team gets struck with injury, then I think they would strongly consider Sanders. But I got news for you. He ain't fallen to 21 overall. He's not fallen. The hate behind Sanders is crazy. You know, it's very similar to the hate behind Penix Jr. last year. When I told people in January Penix Jr. was a top 10 pick, I got ridiculed. I got made fun of. And I made sure to come out. I put him on the Moon Man list right in January before the national championship game. And I remember he had a bad game. I wanted it out there before the game. So I went live right before. We put him on the Moon Man list. Everybody got excited. And then he goes out and has a bad game, Penix Jr. And then everybody and their mother's like, Smitty, you better take him off. I'm like, I'm not. He's a Moon Man extraordinaire. And Penix Jr. is going to take the league by storm. And he's going to help this Falcons team be electric and help Bijan be magnificent. Help Bijan be a 15 total touchdown guy. Help Drake London become a top 5 to 10 wide receiver. Penix Jr. is going to ball. And while I don't know now how I feel about Shedeur being on that level yet, or being a top 7 to 10 fantasy football quarterback, 7 to 10 NFL quarterback, it's certainly possible in New York under Dable's command, throwing to Malik Neighbors. Understand situations very important when we start talking about, you know, the value of a player like Shedeur, who needs a little work. If the Steelers, I got news for you. There's no shot you're getting Shedeur at 21. You have to move up. And maybe the Steelers are looking to move up. If they don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming, you know, into the Steelers quarterback room this year, which I don't know, this newfound interest for Shedeur might mean that they've gotten bad news from Aaron Rodgers. We have to keep that in mind and try and read between the lines. But they're going to have to trade up to like 9 or 10 or even higher, and probably have to do it on the clock. And maybe this is where, and even Ron Navy said the other day, in terms of Hampton or a running back, I think Pickens could be used in a trade up, but not for a running back, but for Shedeur, because you can't get Shedeur Sanders at 21. Anybody that thinks Shedeur Sanders is going to fall to 21, I've got a bridge to sell you. This is not going to happen. He had an unbelievable showing at the Colorado Showcase workout, and he upped his value, even though people want to tear him down. Even though everybody wants to tear this kid down, everybody hates his dad. That's really faulty logic. You're proving you have faulty biased logic if you think that this kid isn't going to be good in certain situations. Not in every situation, but you put him in Pittsburgh with a whole bunch of support and DK Metcalf. I love it. I love it. Shedeur would probably flourish in Pittsburgh. He'll flourish in, obviously, New York with Neighbors and Dable, and he'd be pretty good in New Orleans under Kellen Moore in that situation, assuming Olave could stay healthy. I really believe that those are 3 very good landing spots, probably rank New York ahead of both of them by a tier break. And then I say I still love Shedeur in New Orleans. But I got news for anybody that thinks Pittsburgh's going to wait around to 21 and get Shedeur. They're not. He's going to go 9 to the Saints. He's going to go potentially, I would say 9 to the Saints or 3 to the Giants. Now, the thing is, could he free fall through this grouping of teams that don't need a quarterback? Maybe. But remember that teams like the Steelers are going to want to trade into these spots to get Shedeur. You might see a team that already drafted trade a future first round or whatever to get back into this, like 13, 15, 16 to grab Shedeur. The Colts could take Shedeur at 14 because Shane Steichen loves a good quarterback, a mobile quarterback, a guy that has, a lot of potential but needs to be groomed. I think Shane Steichen could take him at 14. I think he'd be good in Indy. That'd be a pretty decent spot for him. I think, anything's possible. And you could see a team trading straight in to that. I mean, even the Vikings could trade in to a teen spot to get him from this 24 overall. I mean, I know if Signassi's in here, he's losing his mind. But I don't think they believe that J.J. McCarthy is for sure their starting quarterback, or you be hearing them back him. They're not backing him. They're just not. We talked about this until we're blue in the face, but they're not backing him. The Vikings are not being coy and trying not to tip their hand. You don't do that with your starting quarterback. You don't play games with their confidence. They're not backing J.J. McCarthy right now. Will they? Maybe a month from now, maybe 4 days from now. Maybe they are waiting on Aaron Rodgers, and if he decides he's coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers, then all of a sudden they go J.J. McCarthy's our starter, but they're not backing him. They just aren't. So there's reason to believe they are looking at other options, potentially. So let's see here what other news we have. So Shedeur, Pittsburgh, New York still in play. I still think the New York Giants take him. This guy right here, Matthew Golden's climbing up draft boards very fast. He's a good player. Visiting with the Cowboys on Thursday, meeting with the Bucks today. Both of these landing spots would be horrible for his potential, becomes a star in the NFL value. He'll become a very good number 2 for a team. He's not going to do what he could do elsewhere. Let's say New England or something like that. In Dallas is the number 2. In Tampa, he could grow into the 1 within a couple years because Godwin's older. Mike Evans is older. I do like Jalen McMillan a lot, but there's a real chance Golden could develop into the number 1 in Tampa, but it would be a very kind of like slow developing and evolving situation. It is kind of weird. I mean, they're trying to plan ahead, I suppose, and that is smart. So, but it's kind of weird to know that like this Bucks team kind of has a bunch of old dogs and they have a good chance to win. Their window is kind of closing, could reopen if they drafted Golden to develop them. But like you think, okay, they might be considering like this is almost a rebuild move. So we'll see. But the Dallas Cowboys, hard to say that would be anything but a 1,000-yard, 4 or 5 touchdown, maybe 900-yard to 1,000-yard, 4, 5, 6 touchdown player, which is good. But you're going to get wide receiver, maybe elite wide receiver 2 numbers out of them from an NFL perspective. Maybe high-end wide receiver 3 numbers, like very high-end wide receiver 3 numbers are possible in Dallas. But all of the places that Golden's being projected to go to right now, they're not places that make him the number 1 overall. Like in the example of this New England Patriots situation, McMillan could go here. Now, Golden could climb in the 11th hour high enough because he's climbing pretty fast right now, rapidly. I have him going at 8 to the Carolina Panthers if McMillan doesn't go to the Carolina Panthers. So I'm already pulling him up really, really high. But it's possible that he becomes, the second drafted wide receiver after Travis Hunter. And in that case, if Hunter goes 2, if Golden's able to climb his value up a lot, he could go to the Jaguars at number 5. He could go to the Patriots potentially at 4, but it's probably a little too early there. But even this Jaguars spot, he's never going to be the star there. BTJ is going to run circles around him. If he goes to the Carolina Panthers, Golden could be the number 1 there. That would be an intriguing spot for either McMillan or Golden. I think you put him in Dallas, you put him in a place like Arizona, you put him in a place like Tampa. These are all locations where, even in LAC is very much linked to drafting a wide receiver at 22 or trading up to get one. That's going to be crowded because Ladd McConkey's not going to go away. Ladd McConkey's going to be the one, or if they draft a big enough name like Golden or Tet, they would maybe share the role, but neither one would be the one at that point. So not a lot of great landing spots being pegged for Matthew Golden. So that's kind of one reason why I pumped the brakes on assuming this guy is going to be a fantasy football monster. There's only 1 or 2 scenarios where his draft capital doesn't fit into that would make him the number 1 wide receiver to his team. The only one that's glaring would be the Carolina Panthers as a number 1 opportunity for him, or if the Patriots traded down, that would be a good spot. So I kind of say pump the brakes on the Golden experiment right now. I like him. He comes out of college kind of playing dual, like who's the number one wide receiver at Texas. A lot of people think it's Bond. A lot of people think it's going to be Golden. I think they both do different things. Bond looked better at times. Golden looked better at times. Golden walks out with a pretty decent stat line, but he didn't exactly like blow the numbers out of the water. Comes in and runs a 4.29 40, and that's why people jump all over it. Like, oh, God, this guy's fast. And usually it doesn't work out. With Worthy, the climb in value that Worthy was granted off of his 40 time, this is the first time it's been something that's been warranted. Worthy was the first player that a lot of people overlooked, me included to a degree. Everybody kind of glossed over it, not because we missed the ball. It's more so that the NFL teams were not showing interest in Worthy initially before his 40 time as a guy you would draft to come in and be the guy. So once he ran his 40, it made everybody relook at it. Teams relooked at it, and then he was given an opportunity and he flourished from it. But it usually does not go well for the speedster wide receiver that everybody thinks this is a good thing. Oh, he's so fast. He's so fast. And he's a good player. He's got good hands. He honestly, looking at his play, I'm not blown away. I like him. He's smooth. He's got good vision. He's got good ability to go get a football. Good hands, like I said, good in traffic. But I just don't know that he's going to be in a spot to be a 1. And if he is, then I'm going to have a little bit more faith in him. If he goes to Carolina, I'll be a little more excited about him, and you'll see him climb my rankings. But I just project he lands in Jacksonville, in Dallas, in Tampa Bay, like a place where it's crowded, and that's going to become a problem. Everybody wants him to be the number 1 guy. That's pretty much it today. There's not a ton of news out there, and we'll probably even, call this show at about 50 minutes. We're about 17 minutes in. So about 50 minutes in, we'll do another 30 minutes and take phone calls the rest of the way. You guys can toss out whatever questions you have. I would love to get a few questions around these topics. We'd love to find Denny. I don't know where in the hell Denny is. We haven't seen Lego Batman in forever. I pretty much assume he's gone. I mean, he hasn't shown up for forever. Draven, if you come back to the show, I'll put you as the guy that's going to call out right down here. You're going to be the new signal launcher. But Denny, we have no idea where Denny is. Denny was in the comments yesterday talking bad about me like he does once in a while. He goes off on a bender. He says, Smitty sucks. Can't even spell it right. Smitty blocked me. Worried William sucks. He's just going at everybody. That's the part that hurts the most. Worried William sucks going at the content like that. But Denny, we have no idea where Denny is. We pretty much have a sneaky suspicion that he tried calling the old phone line and it couldn't go through, so he thinks I blocked him. He does this about once every 6 months. Calls me his best friend, and then we can't find him at all. So, and what am I going to do? So, that's Denny for you. Dial into the phone line.
Call into the show.
Especially if you're Denny.
Call into the show.
Denny, time to face the music, Denny. Time to face the music, Denny. The phone lines, you're dialing the old phone line number, Denny. You're dialing the old number and taking it out on your boy Smitty in the comments like you do once in a while. Time to face the music. Time to step up and say, Smitty, I was wrong again. Smitty, I came at you and didn't have all the information. Phone lines open, dial in. Let's talk Rashee Rice. Let's talk Matthew Golden. Let's talk Shedeur Sanders. Let's talk landing spots. Let's talk NFL draft. Do it live. Dial in, dial in, dial in. Phone line is wide open. I love Rashee Rice right now. I think I'm going to probably put him on the Moon Man list if he's not already. Let's go through the Moon Man, Mars Men, Saturn Men, and Jupiter Men list. Let's go to the Moon Men first.
The Moon Men, dropping
Luka,
loads in outer space.
Fields, Scat, Debo, Sampson, love it. Love the look of it.
Space Monsters.
Looks pretty good. The Mars
He's
men.
on a shuttle to Mars.
Got Henderson,
Mars
Hampton,
men.
Hunter, Laporta, Saturn.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man,
Paul,
one
Kyron,
giant leap for Saturn.
Jigba, Brian Thomas, and then finally,
The Jupiter men.
Look at 'em.
Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit.
what a wonderful group. We've got someone on the phone line here. This is the 925. What's your name and where are you calling from, pal? Hello? 925. Can you hear me? Okay, we might have a problem with. Hold on, hang tight. Don't hang up, pal. Let's go. Let's go with the portable speaker. I obviously gotta restart the system. Can you hear me? 925. What's your name and where are you calling from? 925. Damn it! Why does this happen like every damn day? Don't hang up, pal. Let's get you on here. All right, let's see if you can hear me now. 925. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what's up, pal? What's your name?
Oh, Sean from Idaho.
What's up, Sean?
I was going to ask, how do you compare the rookie tight end class to the rookie wide receiver class? With like Golden, Ibuka to Warren, Loveland.
Yeah. Good question. I'm going to probably say that I think it's, I think the wide receiver class is underrated to a degree because people are so down on it, and the expectation coming off of the BTJ, the Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., it's like naturally like a letdown to look at a group that's not quite as talented. But I do believe, like with any draft class, you never know how many big monsters, even if it's one or two, can come from like the wide receiver class, for example. I think Travis Hunter has the ability to be probably below BT and Neighbors if he's in the most ideal spot, used as a wide receiver. It's a perfect situation. I still think he's below Neighbors and BTJ, but I think he could be literally in the receiver group that you draft right after those guys if all goes well. I think Ibuka could be somewhere, let's call it a JSN value right now. JSN's going at the 2-3 turn. He's climbing into round 2 kind of consistently right now in best ball and non-best ball. I bet you he still remains in round 3 pretty comfortably. But that's where Ibuka could climb to, in my opinion. Or it could be Golden, or it could be Ted McMillan. If any one of those 3 are in the right spot. I do think it probably dies there. I don't know that we're going to have 3 or 4, top 30 overall players in fantasy come out of this wide receiver.
I like Jaden Higgins a lot.
In the right spot, he could be good.
Yeah.
In the right spot, he could be good. Kevin Williams in the right spot could be good. There's a couple of sleepers, but they need the right spot.
Yeah, it's like Fabian Williams.
So
Fabian Williams.
He's all right. But the draft capital is not going to be great, so he's got to get lucky. So you got to wait until landing spots are divvied out. I think the tight end class is it. Look, I like I like Tyler Warren a lot. I think in the right spot he could be very good, but he also needs the right spot. I'm not a big Loveland guy. I think Loveland's okay. I think in the right spot he could be good, but I don't see an elite monster in Loveland. No, I think he could be 8 to 12-ish in fantasy. I think Tyler Warren could be top 5 if he's in the right spot. But it's a very thin tight end class. I think it's Warren, tier break, like Loveland. But, we've seen better tight end prospects than Loveland fail, and all in one draft class. Like Mayer and Kincaid were better prospects than Loveland, from my perspective. And I'm not even just using stats or anything specific. It's eye test. It's gut. It's watching them play ball. Watching Mayer dominate. Watching Kincaid dominate. Watching Musgrave come in as the best prospect from a metrics perspective than all of those rookies that year. And all of them failed. Loveland, we'll see what Loveland can do once he gets to the next level. He's going to need to go to a great spot. There's a chance because he falls so much further than Tyler Warren, not into the second round or anything, but he falls so much further, he could land on the better team. So we'll see what happens with the situation. But no, I don't get, my gut doesn't say, oh my God, Loveland's going to be a top 5 tight end. I don't feel that at all. But
what would you think about Seattle for Loveland?
Yeah, I don't know. That's okay.
They're using a tight end.
I mean, look, Darnold was great in Minnesota. We'll find out what Darnold is. I think Darnold can get the ball to JSN, but I don't know that Darnold is. We've got to find out what he is. I mean, that situation's not ideal. You know, even if Loveland went to Indy, which makes sense, but who's throwing to him? If he went to, let's say, the Bengals, then all of a sudden I love Loveland a lot more in the Bengals uniform. If he goes to the Chargers, which they'd probably have to trade up, but that's a good spot. That's a good spot. I don't know that it makes him a top 5 player though. But I think it's good. Green Bay failed with their 2 tight ends, but there's still prospects to them, so they're probably not going to go that way. I think, yeah, I don't know, man. It depends where he goes. It depends where he goes. But to answer your question, I think that the receiver class and the tight end class are similar in that they're not very deep. They probably will produce 1 to 2 good prospects that contribute to the fantasy football player pool. But the running backs are going to be last year's version, this year's version of last year's wide receiver class. The running back class is going to give us probably 3 top 30 overall players in fantasy.
Yeah, and it does seem like Hampton's going to be a first-round pick, almost for sure now.
No, Hampton's going to be a top 15 pick, not a first-round pick.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think he goes to Dallas, Chicago, in that area.
Well, yeah. So he's definitely going to be gone before I think the 20s.
Hello.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, pal?
Oh, I'm hearing you.
Hold on.
I can hear 2 of you guys talking at the same time.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me go over to. Is it Richard? 734.
Yeah.
What's up, Richard?
I'm out of Las Vegas. I wanted to talk about Rashee Rice. I let the guy. It was all over him last year, but now what do you think is going to happen with him and his legal difficulties?
I think he probably gets a 1 to 2 game suspension. Could it be 2 to 4, 2 to 6? It's always possible, but look, this time heals everything. This is the Chiefs. You know, the commissioner loves the Chiefs. He wants the Chiefs to succeed. I think that we're looking at probably a 2 game suspension in my opinion. 2 to 4 game, probably 2. And even then, bro, we don't know if it gets moved. It could be pushed again. This is the way the legal process works. These players know what they're doing. I think that if he takes the suspension at the beginning of the year while he's rehabbing, it's even better because then he comes into week 3, you know, and is even healthier. So I'm not worried about it at all. I think that your New Age dropping 10 gifted memberships. Please thank New Age for dropping those memberships, and you can say so by clicking on the New Age emoji that he has, the New Age Outlaw emoji. It's the Cowboy Outlaw. It should be the last one I added. Please thank New Age. I think that you're probably Rice is, you know, you're baking in at that 4 to 5 round turn value. You're baking in the risk of a 2 game suspension. And on top of that, you think about like, okay, we're talking best ball ADP kind of right now, bro. In a non-best ball, in your home league, in your buddy league, in your work league, your Aunt Edna league, you're probably seeing him more in the early 5 territory. Because in best ball, everyone's consuming wide receivers so much in the first 3, 4, 5 rounds that it pulls everyone up a little bit. So I think in a natural environment, drafting environment that's not best ball geared, especially on Underdog, which you can hit the promo code Smitty, and they'll match up to 1,000 in bonus credits on your account and give you a bonus pick. So hit the link I'm dropping in the live chat right now. I think you're getting him in 5. And Rashee Rice in 5 is a steal because he could be a top 5 wide receiver. He was producing like a top 5 wide receiver. And this video footage, which I'll put on Instagram later, you can watch it on my IG. He's out there pushing weights on a sled, looking completely healthy. Now, granted, he's still trying to work on strength and cutting and making sure he can trust his knee. But this was an LCL injury, not an ACL injury. It wasn't a big meniscus tear. It was an LCL injury. And on the LCL, you're looking at. I'm not saying it's not a bad injury, but is probably the best of the 3 ligaments that you could tear. The MCL, you're really looking on the MCL. You're really looking at a painful. Sometimes you feel the pain years later. You know, I tore my ACL in one of my legs, messed up everything. Tore my LCL, tore my MCL, tore my ACL in half, tore my meniscus in my left leg, and this was like early 2000s. And to this day, my MCL is still painful. LCL, not a big deal. I tore my LCL as a even smaller kid when I jumped off a trampoline wrong, and basically the LCL goes all the way down your leg, and then kind of like forks off, and so my foot twisted back when I landed, and I stretched the hell out of it. It was like you're on crutches for a little while. Depends on the situation. He obviously tore it more than stretching it just a little bit, but you don't snap it in half. You know, it's very rare to snap the MCL or LCL in half. I mean, ripping it off you can't. You know, it's really, really tough. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried. It's not like an ACL tear. It's not like he had anything crazy, to be honest. I'm really, really intrigued by his 4th round, but especially 5th round value in non-best ball. Anything else, bro?
That was pretty much it. You know, I like Rice. I just wonder about the legal system. At 2 games, you know, these guys can miss 2 games. All of them could miss 2 games, and that ain't a big deal. So thanks for taking my call.
All right, man. Call in anytime. All right, Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up?
What up?
Right?
Yeah.
With the Steelers looking at Shedeur, I think it's interesting, and you know, for now it's probably due diligence or whatever. But 2 ways to look at that is, one, they got to cover themselves because Rodgers is unpredictable. You never know if he could go, I'm retiring, or you just never know with him. And then the other thing is, they have a big decision to make with the 1st round pick because they don't have a 2nd round. So if Sanders falls there, that could be something they do, especially because, you know, if a Jalen Milroe is falling into the 2nd round, they might not have access to get a guy like him, or, you know, if Stark falls a little bit or something like that. So
yeah, and if they can't, and they're not getting Shedeur at 21, which is a pipe dream. I mean, could it happen? I guess if lightning struck, and the way players free fall, you know, because all it takes is the 2 teams that are the expected landing spots pass, and then all the other teams that have quarterbacks have to pass. So a free fall can naturally happen, especially if Shedeur gets past the 14 pick where the Colts are. Then it's like it's a free fall because Falcons have Penix Jr., Cardinals have Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, but Seattle might still take Shedeur because, you know, it's not like Sam Darnold's a lock. The Bucks, they're plenty happy with Baker. They wouldn't piss him off. Bo Nix, no. So I mean, you never know. But my guess is that a team my guess is a team that sees him free falling is going to try to trade into this pick, you know, to get him before he keeps falling. But you never know. But anyway, I think that if they stay put and Sanders goes 9, which is where I think he falls, or 14 at the latest, but I think he goes 9. My preference is 3. I think Shedeur deserves to go 3. I think people are absolutely out of their minds filled with hate and just wanting to tear him down, to suggest that he's not capable of going in the top 3 or going 3 to the Giants. But if for any reason Sanders is gone by, you know, this 21 pick, which I think is the case, I'm taking Milroe there personally. But I do think that the fact that we're hearing a little bit of buzz about the Steelers wanting a QB means that they might have talked to Aaron Rodgers again, and they might have got a bad feeling about where he's headed, or even got bad news. So we'll have to see where that. Hold on one second, Travis. Let me read this. Dynasty Superflex Start 11 was offered Rashee Rice and Sticky Ricky Parasol for my Rome and JMO thoughts. That's a tough one because Rome is a really good player. I hate that he went to Chicago, but things are going to open up for him this year. I like JMO a lot. I think Rashee Rice is probably the best player out of the whole group, but I do like JMO and Rome quite a bit. I think I would. Man, is there a way to take out like Rome or JMO and take out Pretty Ricky and throw in like second round picks or whatever just to upgrade JMO to Rice or upgrade Rome to Rice? I don't know. I would look into that, but at the end of the day, if you had to like say yes or no, I had to say yes or no to this trade, I'd probably say give me Rashee Rice and Pretty Ricky, and then I trade Ricky Parasol because I like the value that he has right now in terms of trading it. I think it could get you a lot.
Yeah, I was saying I'd leave Rashee Rice there too. As long as he's healthy, which everything sounds good, he's a wide receiver one. You saw what he could do.
Yeah.
Start last year, but I do like Rome a lot. Like I keep thinking Ben Johnson's going to turn him into the Amon-Ra.
Yeah, he could. He could.
A lot of time.
He could. It's a tough call.
Oh, there's question marks there.
My advice would be keep Rome, get Ricky out of the deal. That way it's, you're taking something out, he's taking something out. And then you're trying to upgrade JMO into Rashee Rice, which some would rather have JMO. I wouldn't, but some might. So like, what if you threw a couple of second rounders in there? I would simplify the deal a little bit. The 2-for-2's making it, I think, a little too complicated, given I'm not like a big fan of Ricky Parasol, really. I liked him as a prospect a lot, but I don't really love him in San Francisco. It's too crowded there. I don't necessarily think Brock Purdy is as good as everybody thinks. They're tearing everything apart in San Francisco. I think it could be a bad year. I would say, yeah, Roma Dunze is nice to keep. I don't really know how I feel about Caleb, consistently throwing to him, but we'll see. I mean, you guys saw the footage of Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen, really. But DJ Moore, like, after Caleb would throw these horrible passes, hang onto the ball, throw hospital balls to DJ Moore. And DJ Moore, this one play where he had to try and get the ball, and he got caught up in his legs trying to, like, wait for this delayed pass, and gets, like, rocked in his legs, falls to the ground, just turns over on his back, and just, like, gets up and walks away off the field, doesn't return to the field, just walks away. And then everybody's like, no, that wasn't. It's because he was hurt. He went back in the next play. So he was really pissed off. But anyway, hospital ball city. And I don't know that this fixing of this offense, we don't even know how the offensive line is going to look. Just keep in mind, for anybody that thinks that the Bears fixed everything because they drafted all these players and it looks really, really clean on paper, just remember that the same thing was said walking into this year, the entire offseason last year. This is the best situation a rookie QB's ever been handed. The best situation a rookie QB's ever been handed. And what happened? He had the worst situation a QB's ever been handed. So let's not pretend that we know how this in some cases older makeshift offensive line that looks really good on paper is going to perform. And then also keep in mind that Caleb Williams is really bad inside the pocket. He holds onto the ball way too long. The offensive line last year in Chicago, from a pass protection standpoint, was top 10. I don't think people realize that because Caleb was sacked more than any quarterback in the league. The Bears' offensive line, according to the data, was top 10 in pass protection. People just don't want to accept that. No, it couldn't have been. Caleb got crushed. Yeah, that's the whole point. Okay, go ahead real quick, Travis, then I'm going to hit Kyrie Boston, who's on the line. I think somebody else is on the line as well. So go ahead real quick, Travis.
No, you can go ahead. I was just saying that the Steelers, whether Rodgers is coming or not, they have to get their ducks in a row because he's unpredictable. And like you said, you wonder what they're starting to get a bad feeling about him.
Yeah. See, they're going to be people that just don't want to accept it. That's cap. That can't be. It's true. I'm sorry to tell you. I know you don't want to believe it because you own Caleb. But the reason Caleb got sacked more than any quarterback in the league was because of Caleb. It wasn't the offensive line. Keep hating on the Bears and Caleb. I'm not hating on the Bears and Caleb. I'm just being consistently right about Caleb and the Bears over and over. And you don't like that. It makes you mad. So you just don't want me to continue to say it, but that's fine. I mean, everything I said about the Bears last year came 100% true. So keep believing in the Bears and Caleb, Alex, is what I'll tell you. This is not me hating. This is me spitting out my truth. This is not a collaboration between me and you, Alex. This is my documentary. Okay, so you're going to hear my opinion.
Right.
And you may not like it. You may disagree with it, but I don't care. Let me go over to the 708 caller and then over to Kyrie Boston. 708, you've been waiting a little while. What's up, man? What's your name and where are you calling from? 708. Hello.
You're back.
Okay, he's not paying attention. Go over to Kyrie Boston. You're live, Kyrie.
Oh, what you was just saying made a lot of sense. So I was thinking about what you were saying. And I caught up for what you was talking about earlier about the rookie. I wanted to ask you about Pittsburgh moving up to number 2 to get Sanders. What you think? You think they could get the Browns? And then
Pittsburgh moving up to 2 to get Sanders. I don't think they're doing that. I think that Pittsburgh is going to try to move up if he falls past 3. There's no trading up to 2.
Past 3. Okay.
Yeah, no. Sanders going to 3 is my hope. It's the right move, and his value went up with his Colorado, showcase day. So I don't know why people are painting a narrative that he's slipping because he patted the ball. I don't know what people are. I don't understand. Teams are excited about him. So New York will probably take him if they're smart, but it is New York, so who knows? But if he falls, I think this is when Pittsburgh gets on the phone and they say, okay, do we trade into 4? Do we trade into 5? Do we trade into 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or where they might watch it for a little while, and then once they see him continue to fall because the team needs make it that he falls, then they come swinging in around like the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. Hard to say. I think Pittsburgh, this is all just rumors. We don't even know if Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh or not, but why are we hearing rumors? Who knows? It could just be all made up. This could be somebody that said something on a damn podcast, and they knew somebody who said it'd be interesting. I think the Steelers might consider trading up or trying to go get Shedeur, and then it evolved into something else. Now, the Steelers are said to be meeting with them, but I don't know that they're expecting to trade up for him. That's all speculation. If they want to meet with him in case he slides, that makes sense. But he's not going to slide to 21, in my opinion. But, they're doing their due diligence. I mean, you have so many, top 30 meetings that, like, you're probably at some point going, let's give out one, to a possibility. Hey, Shedeur, come in. Let's just see what's what. This is probably a good thing just to be prepared. What if he slides to like 13, 14 and they're like, we can move up by giving up a future second or whatever, then I could easily see them doing that, But I don't know that. I think Shedeur's not, unless they trade up, he's not going to be a Steeler, but you never know. It'd be a good spot. New Orleans would take him at 9, I think. I don't think New Orleans would even hesitate to take him at 9. All right, Kyrie Boston, anything else? I got to jump here in a second, so I'm going to cycle the phone line off. Call in tonight, though. We'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back tonight. Gump, you got 15 seconds, Gumpy.
Well, I'll tell you the truth.
Thank you.
That defensive coordinator from Pittsburgh left. I think he's the one that was helping doing the Steelers. Wasn't
Tomlinson.
Talking about?
I never know really what you're talking about, Gump. But go ahead, try and repeat it one more time.
The defensive coordinator for the Steelers, I forget his name. He retired. The defensive coordinator.
I know what year you're talking. Okay.
Dick LeBeau.
Okay. He always likes to dig into something deep into weeds.
Once LeBeau left, listen, the Steelers is like the Atlanta Falcons, a dumpster freaking fire with freaking Arthur Smith running the team and Tomlinson. Face it.
Don't even waste no more time on Steelers.
Okay. Anything else, Gumpy?
He might listen. Huh?
Okay. What else you got? Yeah, what else you got?
Famous Jameis. Freaking goofball's gonna get hurt. Famous Jameis. I ain't switching my mind on it.
Yeah, you have though. You ever since Russell Wilson signed, you haven't said a word about Jameis Winston when you were all over Jameis Winston, saying you're drafting him in every league. He's the guy. He's gonna explode. Russell Wilson signs. We don't hear a word from you. Now you're back on the Jameis Winston. Look, I hope
Jameis Winston woke up. Hey, Jameis woke up and 2 elves was lucky to sprinkle.
Yeah.
He woke up with a smile,
okay,
knowing that he's gonna.
I hope I think Jameis could beat out Russell Wilson for the starting job, but we'll see. We'll see. He should beat him out. I don't know why Russell Wilson's going to get a shot again. Russell Wilson's one of the top five paid quarterbacks in NFL history. All right, we'll see you later, bro. Good.
Wait a minute.
Okay, last thing, and I gotta go.
Remember I told you that the Cowboys are going to get a running back, big time. A new 20-door set.
No, you said they were trading for Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. And the Lions, they might go ahead and get that tight end that in the draft that might fall to them.
They've got Laporta. What are you talking about, Gump? You say these nonsensical things sometimes, like maybe we should get Tyler Warren. You've got Laporta. Maybe we should go draft Travis Hunter or Ted McMillan. You've got J-Mo and you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe we should draft a quarterback. You got Goff right now. They're not drafting Tyler Warren. They're not taking Loveland. You got Laporta. It's not going to happen.
You might as well have a sloppy Joe freaking party over there at your house on draft day because it's going to be nuts.
Sloppy Joe party. What the hell is that?
It'd be one of the craziest draft days ever.
All right. I love you, Gump. I got to go. I'm going to pick up food.
Your toast.
Got to pick up food, Gump. Call him tonight. We'll be live tonight.
How many more?
All right, Travis, final thoughts.
No, just locally, sounds like Vrabel might be falling in love with Jalen Walker. So,
okay,
see what happens. I don't know. I'm starting to worry they might even trade out if Abdul Carter's there at 4 for him.
Okay. It'd be interesting who takes that 4 spot. Maybe it's a quarterback needy team. Maybe the Steelers would be interesting to go to 4.
Yeah.
I just don't know that they're gonna have the juice to do it or the desire, but maybe they will. I mean, that would be a great spot, to be honest. New Orleans trading up. I mean, who knows? But this will probably be. I don't think anybody's trading for that pick to draft Sanders until he's on the clock and available, because they're going to be afraid that New York takes him at 3. But we'll see. And Cleveland could still take Sanders at 2, but I think they're sold on Hunter. I don't think Hunter has a chance of falling out of the top 2. But I'll be back tonight. Travis, call in then. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, later. All right, guys. I'll see you tonight. Cutting it a little early today. We're going to go a 50-minute show, I said, because I got to go pick up some food and everything. I'll be back though for sure. We'll do a show tonight. I imagine there'll be some news to talk about too. So I'll be back. Appreciate every single one of you, even my worried Williams out there. BTJ to the moon. Bucky Irving.
Get buckied. Buckied. Buckied.
See you all later. I'll be back about midnight Eastern, maybe a little bit earlier than midnight Eastern tonight. Thank you to my super chatters. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you. Thanks for my gifted memberships. Gifted memberships from New Age Outlaw, dropping 10 gifted memberships like an absolute monster. New Age to the mother freaking moon. Guys, if you got a New Age Outlaw membership, please let this man know by dropping the New Age Outlaw emoji. It's the cowboy hat. It says Outlaw. Do it live. Outlaw season's in full effect. New Age to the mother freaking moon. Thank you, New Age.